To the Knowing Show. I'm your host, Christene Marie, and this morning we are moving through A Course in Miracles. We are on lesson 10 today, as it is today, January 10th. It is 5:50 in the morning for me. I had planned to go live at 8 a.m. this morning, but I had a change of plans today. So I am going live right now, and I just wanted to give a quick recap of the previous lessons that we've been through, and then we will read through today's entire lesson and just share anything that comes up for me as I put it into practice. And if not, then we'll go ahead and close it out for the day. So the first 9 lessons. Lesson 1, nothing I see in this room means anything. Lesson 2, I have given everything I see in this room all of the meaning that it has for me. Lesson 3, I do not understand anything I see. Lesson 4, these thoughts do not mean anything. Lesson 5, I am never upset for the reason I think. Lesson 6, I am upset because I see something that is not there. Lesson 7, I see only the past. Lesson 8, my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. Lesson 9, I see nothing as it is now. And we're going to read the entirety of Lesson 10. My thoughts do not mean anything. This idea applies to all the thoughts of which you are aware or become aware in the practice periods. The reason the idea is applicable to all of them is that they are not your real thoughts. We have made this distinction before and will do so again. You have no bias for comparison as yet. When you do, you will have no doubt that what you once believed were your thoughts did not mean anything. This is the second time we have used this kind of idea. The form is only slightly different. This time the idea is introduced with my thoughts instead of these thoughts. And no link is made overtly with the things around you. The emphasis is now on the lack of reality of what you think you think. This aspect of the correction process began with the idea that the thoughts of which you are aware are meaningless, outside rather than within, and then stressed their past rather than their present status. Now we are emphasizing that the presence of these thoughts merely means that you are not thinking. This is merely another way of repeating our earlier statement that your mind is really a blank. To recognize this is to recognize nothingness when you think you see it. As such, it is the prerequisite for vision. Close your eyes for these exercises and introduce them by repeating the idea for today quite slowly to yourself, then add, this idea will help to release me from all that I now believe. The exercises consist, as before, in searching your mind for all the thoughts that are available to you without selection or judgment. Try to avoid classification of any kind. In fact, if you find it helpful to do so, you might imagine that you are watching an oddly sorted procession going by, which has little, if any, personal meaning to you. Interesting. As each one crosses your mind, say, my thought about blank doesn't mean anything. My thought about blank doesn't mean anything. Today's thought can obviously serve for any thought that distresses you at any time. In addition, 5 practice periods are recommended, each involving no more than a minute or so of mind searching. It is not recommended that this time period be extended, and it should be reduced to half a minute or less if you experience discomfort. Remember, however, to repeat the idea slowly before applying it specifically, and also to add, this idea will help me to release from all that I now believe. Good morning. I have to say, I'm surprised to see so many of you join. I just finished reading. I'm just checking in on a couple of the streaming platforms. I'm live on a couple of different channels, but God of Work, thank you so much for joining me tonight. This morning, actually. Nemasio, thank you for coming on here. E.T., Alexia, Phantom, Altamac, and I'm just going to keep going, trying my guesses at this. Bill Reed, thank you for joining. Dark Horse. Renata, thank you for coming on here. I'm so happy to see you guys. I'm going to just give a quick recap of what we're chatting about. A Course in Miracles is a book that I started reading last year, and it has a workbook associated where there's a different lesson for 365 days of the year. And we've been reading through the first 9 lessons, and today we're on lesson 10. And the lesson for today was my thoughts do not mean anything. And there's been a progression leading up for it for those of you who haven't been here. But really, so much of this is predicated on understanding how what we think and what we see around us, so much of it is just a replica of our past experiences. It's all a program, it's all a pattern. And so if we really want to truly be in the present moment, we have to effectively acknowledge that that's the case. And actually, they say it really, really well here. So the emphasis is now on the lack of reality of what you think you think. This aspect of the correction process began with the idea that the thoughts of which you are aware are meaningless outside rather than within. So first, over the first couple of lessons, we were acknowledging the fact that so much of what we see is external and we're not really actually seeing it through our own eyes. And then also that we're seeing the past, not the present moment. And so this exercise for today is honestly making it more personal. Like, my thoughts don't mean anything, and just almost taking our thoughts and almost pulling it out of our head and examining it and pulling it under our, now we're in control of our thoughts because we're actually paying attention to them rather than our thoughts being at the helm of our ship. And so I'm going to take this exercise now, and I'm actually going to, I did this yesterday and it was really helpful. I set my alarm 5 different times. Ooh, I have a song playing. I set my alarm 5 different times yesterday, and each time it went off, I just took a pause, even though it was a work day on Friday. And it was really, really helpful because as the alarm went off and I just took a moment, yesterday's lesson was I see nothing as it is now. And so it was just a moment in time just to take a break and take 60 seconds. That's all she asks for, to just take a pause and practice this lesson to look about me and recognize that so much of what I see actually isn't what is. And y'all, I see this so much in my relationships with people where I assign meaning to what they're saying or what they're doing rather than remaining curious. So A Course in Miracles really is a retraining of the mind. It's almost like taking our mind to the gym every morning. You know, it's so important that while we're doing physical exercises, we're also doing mental exercises, because if we're not in school, when are we actually training our mind? And when are we actually ensuring that we are the ones in control of the mind rather than our mind controlling us? So I'm just going to leave this here, I think. I actually haven't gone to bed tonight. I've been awake all night. I just got settled into a hotel and have been doing some unpacking, and sometimes the evenings and the quiet of the night, there's a lot of creativity there. So I am going to go to bed. But for those of you who are just starting out your day, good morning. Thank you so much for joining. And yeah, my thoughts do not mean anything. And I hope that this lesson, as you think about it today, I hope that there's an element of freedom that comes with that. And also curiosity. Why do we think that? Where did that thought come from? How is the past showing up in the present? And then from there, hopefully, we can experience more freedom to begin with. So thank you so much for joining, and I will see you later today.